Hello! So I wanted to film making some puzzle feeders for you. So these are two hard puzzle feeders. I have some frozen carrots. I had it all frozen and then I had an insulated bag and it did not work. It melted. But usually I pre-make these in like little ice cream trays, so that way I know exactly how much carrots are in there, and then if I'm watching calories or food, I know that they're not getting too much. But you can just sprinkle some carrots in here. I make it all nice and pretty with the sunflower. But I sprinkle some carrots, I'm gonna fill up some water, and then I have a peanut butter and oatmeal that was also an ice cube that melted, so I just made a little paste at the bottom. This is something that you can pull off your freezer and just give to the kids and they can have at it, or you can also put their kibble, like their dinner tonight or tomorrow morning, on it, and it's going to take them that much longer to work through it because it's going to be cold. They get the sensory, and also it just helps promote, hey, I got to be calm while I'm doing this. Nice little puzzle feeder, busy toy when you need that few moments. So here I'm pulling out the oatmeal and peanut butter. It is a teaspoon of peanut butter and a tablespoon of oats. So it should be nice and easy on their stomach. I know it looks a little gross here. Sorry, they were supposed to be frozen ice cubes. But I like to wear gloves when I prep enrichment. So this is where I just kind of pat, make a little paste. These are in your freezer. They're in Ziploc bags. So that way there's no mess in your freezer. And you can let the kids lick it and then put it back if you want. But this gives them a chance to really just have something that calms them down, especially if you have guests over or anything like that. Okay, the next one is another puzzle feeder that I'm making. So these are just terry cloth towels. So I'm just it's 1 cup of food that's throughout this whole entire thing. So it can be something that they both share or something that they split. But the idea here is that they're going to have to snuffle through it. Now I sped this up just so you can see, like, I'm just rolling it taco and then folding in half. I made, I want to say 8, 10, some even number. I can't remember it at the moment. I also have terry cloth in this box that you'll see me stuffing in just a second. It can be food, it can be carrots, it can be treats, it could be toys. Eventually we can talk about sensory things. So it could be oregano, it could be basil, things that are safe for dogs, but they can find it. Honestly, even doing like shredded cheese. If they can have a little bit of cheese would be a good enrichment item here. But the idea, again, is just they have to work through it. Now, this is an example of a big puzzle feeder. There's a lot of different pieces. Each one of these little towels could be its own individual enrichment. But when you need that time, you can just plop it down. And again, this is one of those supervised toys until we know how they respond to cardboard and towels. You're going to see in a second where I worked with the kids on just introducing them how to unroll things through the towel. And it was an experience. There was a moment I had just turned off the camera where Rex was like, I'm just going to eat this towel. And I was like, nope, we're not going to do that. If we push our nose through it, we find treats. And he was like, oh, like you could see the light bulb click. I wish I had got it captured on film, but you'll enjoy their thought process. What I like the most about puzzle feeders is seeing the dogs think and to enrich. So here I just have the cardboard box and I realized I'm going to fold these things down. So once I get this down, I'm just going to take the towels, folded in half again, kind of just slightly stuck in there. Once these guys are really good with it, we can really shove these towels in there and make it really hard for them. It almost also looks like a snuffle mat, so we could potentially roll stuff up like this and then sprinkle food on top of it. Now I did grab a toy just to kind of hold that extra space in there for them. See? Doo-doo-doo. Now here's where I asked them for sit, I asked them to leave it, just because, hey, it's always important to learn how to have impulse control, even when we're learning something new. So you can see Ruby being such a good girl, laying down, ready for it. Rex was like, I want that, please. So I got them to relax, and then I kind of helped them nose it, mess with it, so that way they get it. Yep, and there he's like, yes, I got this. So one method I've seen with dogs is they pick it up and throw it. Another is they shake it viciously. Others like lightly paw at it. All of it is just different ways that they can problem solve, which is the part of this project. Okay, I brought over 2 different sprays. This is a home mixture of citrus or orange, peppermint, and a little bit of rosemary. I have 5 and 5 drops. That's it in this giant, comparatively, bottle. The rest is filled up with water, so all you have to do is spray it. So it's essential oils. It's going to make your backyard smell really good, but it's also going to help deter it. So here I am. I wanted to show you a little bit of, hey, I'm lightly spritzing it on your rocks. So it shouldn't harm your rocks, shouldn't harm your patio, makes it smell a little nice. It actually helps deter flies, but it should deter the dogs from eating it too. The other chew that I brought, or spray that I brought, is a non-chew, non-mess with spray from Scout's Honor. It's a commercialized, almost like a bitter apple, but it's a different vein. I've had a lot of clients, and personally I've had a lot of success with it. So either way, you can try it out. Now I put the kids up in their kind of kennel space, sprayed it, and then I let them out. I did a little bit of work back and forth just to make sure that they weren't overly interested in the scent, but also having them realize, oh, hey, it's not a big deal. Now, I don't know if these are the rocks that they like to eat or if there's a certain spot, so try it out. Again, it's diluted enough that if they do lick it, they do sniff it, it's not going to harm them. If they get essential oils straight, that can harm them, so that's why it's still so diluted with water. But it usually does the trick pretty well. So you can see we're working on place, we're working on sit, and we're struggling a little bit with it, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. Now this is where we really worked on place. Now I want to keep reinforcing with you and for you, not only that they go on that ottoman to relax when you have guests come in, but also if you're opening the door, you're grabbing things. I want that practice in there because right now you're coming into impulse control. Rex struggled with this. Ruby did phenomenal, but Rex was like, I'm not going to do this. Now I did attach the kids together with one of my long leads, so that way if they do try to escape, I can snag one of them, and also if one goes, they're not going to go in opposite directions. The only downside to this is if Rex really takes a flying leap, then Ruby will go with him, which is kind of cute. I didn't realize he did that little sploot right there. So we did practice where I did place, where I walked around your ottoman, or not ottoman, your island. We practiced with, oh my gosh, someone's coming in the house, yay! Just as weird, obnoxious noises and kind of just goofiness that I could get to get that impulse control triggered. That's what we worked on. And you can see Rex like, oh, do I have to do this again? And Ruby's like, I got this. I'll just settle right here. Opening and closing the door, and eventually you're going to see, I'm going to cut my sound and speed it up so you can see it, where I work on not even crossing the threshold of the doorway and just really reinforcing it. Now you'll see Rex struggle with it in a second, but this is the repetition and practice to make sure that we do not do door dashing, but also just good practice. Now here's where you're going to see, I'm going to toss treats. Now I think they're too small. You can kind of see them. I am tossing treats in front of them. We did do a couple rollovers just when I was like, hey, come on. He was like, no. But we got them back up in the ottoman and worked on that impulse control. This is something they really struggled with. I'm not entirely surprised, but it is also something that might get a little worse before it gets better, especially with their age. They can do this. I know they can do this. So the more that we mess with them on what flies off when I'm in my place will help when they're outside in public or when you're at home too. And also they get to have a jackpot, which is what they got to do right there once they focused. It's okay if they fail. It's just about resetting those expectations. So this is where I shift gears a little bit and I was like, I'm just going to open the door. I didn't tell them place. I didn't tell them wait. I didn't tell them anything that made them, oh, I have to wait by the door. But it was just more of like, you can see me being goofy. What can I do to try to say, hey, when that door's open, you don't immediately get to go. You have to wait for a release. This is a hard, always has to have a release. And you can see where he ran back. He was like, oops, my bad. So this is what we worked on too, just to help reinforce we got to be calm. Now, I also worked on their barking when someone comes in the house. So after I worked with them a little bit and had all the puzzle feeder stuff set up, I went out, put them in their kennel, and like quote unquote pretended that I left. And then I walked in and was like, hey. Now, I'm sorry the lighting is kind of wonky. I wanted to work specifically on that barking. So you'll see them, or more likely Rex, where he barks and then he stops. And he barks and then he stops. What I'm doing is walking. The closer I am getting to them, the calmer they are supposed to be. If they start barking, I stop and walk away. So literally, as soon as they bark, the person that they want or treats that they want walks away from them. So it's kind of like a back and forth, back and forth. Next time I do this, I'll film it so you can see it what I'm doing with the kids. It might make more sense than context. But this is that reinforcement of when people come in the house, we don't get to bark at them. It's also practicing when we're in this space and people are walking around the house, we don't get to demand bark at them either. So again, calm behaviors while we're in the kennel space. Here is another version of place. We did it with the little mat or the little cot by their dog kennels. I did it from their perspective. You can only see one dog at a time, unfortunately. I forgot my tripod today, but you can see tails and also one puppy. So I worked on toys. So this is where it's not treats, it's toys. Can I toss treats and then can I walk around with them? Impulse. It's the biggest thing that we can work on this age. It's the biggest thing that they will struggle with, especially as hormones come online, is how do we ignore it? And honestly, they do really well. It's really kind of comical. Their heads are in sync when they're watching this. So it's anytime he pops off, it's back on place. I wait. Now I'm not asking for a sit or a down. I'm just asking for his feet on there. Or I stand there and wait till he sits down, but I'm not cueing him. I'm not telling him I need you to sit. I just wait. It's teaching that automatic, hey, what are you supposed to do? The hardest part with this is that we as the humans have to take a breath and let them pause. And that's hard, but it helps. Okay, now the last little bit is going to be a snippet of us at Home Depot. I admit that I didn't get as much footage as I could have when we were there. We worked on boredom work right here where you can see the people. I was trying to show you people in the beepings, so they were doing great, and then walking. Having them sit and just ignore people is probably the hardest thing to do at Home Depot because people just want to cuddle them. As you know, your dogs are really adorable. But the kids did really well with this field trip, and they should be exhausted after how much walking we did. One last thing, here's we were snuggling a little bit while I was cleaning their feet after our field trip, is working on decompression, on snuggles, on just letting them kind of settle with you after you do training at home is going to make a big impact on them learning how to calm down with you. A lot of times we do things and we all kind of go our separate ways. So when you just have them with you, whether it's cleaning their paws or just doing snuggles like this makes a big impact on a well-mannered puppy. And the fact that she was letting me do this is phenomenal. Now, she did wiggle after out of it, and I was like, all right, cool, you can go. But beautiful job. They had a great time today. Hopefully they are zonked for you. Hopefully you had a great day. And I will see you on Wednesday. Or I won't see you. I'll see them on Wednesday. Good luck on your procedure.